In this tutorial, we will learn how to create a custom searchable drop-down list in SwiftUI. As you can see on the screen, this is the view that we'll be creating. We can expand on the list by clicking on the arrow, and then we can enter our search criteria that we want to search on, or we can just scroll through the actual list. So if we enter our search criteria that we want to retrieve from the list, we can just enter like Canada, and then it filters on Canada. And then if we click on the selected country, it will then display the selected country on the view. So this is what we're creating in today's tutorial. Within your content view, we need to create an array to store all of the countries. USA, Canada, Mexico, France, Germany, Spain. We now need to add our first @state variable, @state private var search text. The purpose of that variable is to hold the search text of the name of the country that we're searching for. @state private var selected country string. And the purpose of this variable is to capture the selected country that we select from the list, from the drop-down list. And this is also optional. @state private var showing drop-down equals false. The purpose of that variable is to control the visibility of the drop-down, to show the drop-down or not. @state private var is hovered bool equals false. And the purpose of that variable is to track the hover state. The next thing we need to do is to create a computed property. And the purpose of the computed property is to filter the countries based on the search text and then return an array of those countries that match the search text. Search text dot is empty. All countries, else all countries. $0 dot localized case insensitive contains search text. On line 18, what that does is that if the search text doesn't contain anything, if it's empty, then it just gets all the information from the array. Else, if the search text is not empty, then it filters the array contents. That's what's in the search text variable. So if we entered, for example, if we entered A as a search text, it will filter and show all of the countries that contains the word A, such as USA, Canada, France, Germany, and Spain. But it will not show Mexico, because Mexico does not contain the character A. The next thing we need to do is, within our body, we need to create a V stack on line 22. And then create another V stack. And then a H stack. And then within the H stack, we need to create a text element. And the purpose of the text element is to show the selected country. If this selected country is nil or doesn't contain anything, it just shows select a country. Else, if it contains a value, it will show selected country is, for example, Canada. Dot foreground color, primary. Dot font, headline, spacer, and the purpose of this spacer is to push the elements to the right. System name showing drop down. Arrow, triangle, up, fill, else, arrow, triangle, down, dot fill. And what that does, it displays an arrow icon based on the drop-down visibility. Next thing we need to do is to set the arrow's icon color. To blue. And then we need to rotate the arrow drop down degrees, showing drop down. We need an S at the end of degrees. 0, 180. That should be 180. Next thing we need to do is to add some padding to the content. Add a frame, max width, dot infinity, and the purpose of using dot infinity is to set the frame width to expand to the maximum available width. Dot background, dot white, dot corner radius, eight, dot shadow, color, dot gray, dot opacity, 0.4, radius 4, x is 0, and y is 2. And what that does, it adds a shadow with the specified color and radius. The next thing we need to do is to add a on-tap gesture recognizer with animation, self, showing drop-down toggle. The purpose of the on-tap gesture recognizer is to hide and show the drop-down using the Boolean variable show drop-down. And that's what we're going to implement next, the Boolean part of it. On line 42 or after line 42, just add the following: if showing drop down, so if it's true, create a V-stack, spacing of 10. Within the V-stack, create a text field, search for a country, and then type in $, search text, got padding, horizontal 16, got padding, got vertical 10, On line 48 we add horizontal padding to the text field, and on line 49 we add vertical padding to the text field. Dot background, dot white, set the text field background color to white, dot corner radius, eight, dot shadow, color, dot gray, dot opacity 0.4, radius 4, x 0, and y is 2. Dot foreground color, dot primary. The next thing we need to do is to create our list to display the countries. Filtered, countries, ID. Give every country in the list an ID. Country in. So within the closure we have our button, action, within the button action, we need to add with animation, and then within the button click, we need to get the selected country that was selected from the list, and also to hide the drop down by calling toggle. So that will hide the drop down with a little bit of animation. And then we need to display a caption. Foreground color, dot primary. The next thing we need to do is after line 65, just enter the following: dot frame, max height 150, and that will set the maximum height of the list. Dot background, color is white, sets the background color of the list to white. Dot corner radius eight. Dot shadow. I think we can copy what we've done previously with the shadow. We'll just copy the previous one. That just adds a bit of a shadow to the list. After line 70, just add a bit of padding. Dot horizontal. 16. And then after line 73, add another dot padding. And then to display our selected country, we just type in the following. If let, so we're doing safe on wrapping, if let selected country is equal to selected country, so if it's not nil, we know that we have the selected country from the list. Selected country. Selected country. Add a little bit of style to the text element. Font dot headline dot foreground color dot primary dot padding. And then the final thing we need to do, anywhere after line 82, just add dot background dot gray dot opacity 0.1 dot edges ignore safe area dot all. The purpose of line 83 is to set a grey color with 10% capacity, which is this part here, and then the ignore safe area part, which will extend the background to cover all edges of the screen, which is ignoring the safe area. Now let's run it to see if it works or not. Oh, there's an error somewhere. There's something to do with the safe area. Let me uncomment that out and see if it works. It's working. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the list is working. I'll select Mexico. Let me see if I can filter. Filter on Canada. I'll filter on all countries that includes the letter E. Okay, that's correct. So it's working. Let's see if we can let it work with the safe area. It doesn't work. Okay, let's just try it about the safe area. At least it's working. So using the safe area, edges ignore. Maybe you can do it as a little exercise in your spare time to see if you can get it to work.